Call this meeting to order on Tuesday, September 12th, 2017 at 6:32. Will you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we have roll call, Monica, please? Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here.
I need a motion for the approval of the minutes on August 22nd, 2017.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, can we have roll call, Monica? Aye.
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 Before the approval of the agenda, there's a amendment to the agenda. There's a need to amend the agenda this evening to add a business item under Other, Item 313, approval to contract with supplemental health care services for the professional services of a fully licensed occupational therapist.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Can we have roll call, Monica? Aye.
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 Okay, needed motion for the approval of the agenda as it was amended.
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, can we have roll call, Monica?
Aye.
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 Moving on to recognition and celebrations. Dr. Abrego?
Yes, we do have one recognition. At this time, I would like to invite Mary Ann Mosqueda to come up here.
Good evening, board members. Dr. Abrego. Our recognition tonight is for Susan Fruit, the owner and the president of Sunshine Plumbing and Heating. I first met Susan and her crew in 2014 when a tragedy took place in one of our district families. The family suffered a great loss. While the family was sleeping, carbon monoxide was released from the home furnace, and the husband passed away, leaving the family displaced and facing the most difficult time of their lives. I reached out to Maria Borrego, who told me about Sunshine Plumbing and Heating. Susan immediately dispatched one of her employees to repair the furnace. Later, we found out that the furnace was installed incorrectly. The repairs were going to cost more than expected. At that point, I thought Sunshine Plumbing and Heating was going to walk away from the project, but they did not. They replaced the furnace, and the family still lives in the home. Every year, Sunshine Plumbing and Heating has helped the district and the community with school supplies, food drives, and events. This year, Sunshine Plumbing and Heating is providing another family with a free furnace to be installed on October 7th to keep the family warm in the winter months. Sunshine Plumbing and Heating has never let us down. That's why we're recognizing them tonight. Thank you.
Do we have is there an award for?
There is.
Okay, can we have you up here in front, please, and we'll go down and take a picture with them. Is that it, Dr.?
Yes, we only had one.
Okay. Moving on now to to audience comments. As we before we begin audience comments, want to make sure that we follow policy. As you come up, please state your name and school district where speaker resides before addressing the board. A maximum of 3 minutes per speaker will be allotted to present comments, concerns, suggestions. No citing of time between speakers will be permitted. The total amount of audience participation at any board meeting will be limited to 30 minutes. The board president may use discretion in times allotted in extraordinary circumstances. All statements shall be kept within the realm of district concerns. No individual or personal problems will be presented. Complaints involving the reputation of any person connected with the district will not be heard by the board while sitting in public session. Public comments time is made available for the public to address issues. Not personal attacks will not be permitted. The school district also has confidence in the professional staff and desires to support their actions in order that they be free from unnecessary, spiteful, or destructive criticisms and complaints. Any complaint about school personnel shall be referred back through the proper administration channels or in accordance with Board of Education Policy KE before it is presented to the board for consideration or action. Constructive criticism motivated by a sincere desire to improve the quality of the educational program or to equip the school to do the task more effectively is welcomed by the Board of Education. All public statements shall be constructive or helpful to operation of the school system. Constructive criticism may be for the improvement of district goals or better education for children. Written statements or comments encouraged for submission, and copies will be provided by the district staff to each board member for review. The statement can be used for review and basis for placement of the agenda at a succeeding meeting of the board after all information has been gathered. The president may recognize a board member or the superintendent to respond to questions, comments, or make a statement to clarify a district's position. There will be no audience response allowed after the board member or the superintendent has responded. Members of the public will not be recognized by president during board meetings except as noted in this policy. Members of the public wishing to make formal presentations before the board should make arrangements in advance with the superintendent so that such presentations, when appropriate, may be scheduled on the agenda. At this time, we would like to have Nicole Harmon.
Good evening. My name is Nicole Harmon. My son attends Rose Hill Elementary, and I do live here in Commerce City. He's a second grader. He's 7 years old. And I spoke to you guys last month. He's only being given 15 minutes to eat lunch. This includes lining up from the classroom, walking down to the cafeteria, lining up and standing in line in the cafeteria, getting his tray, going through the lunch line, checking out with the cafeteria lady, and sitting down. I've contacted the news. I've contacted everyone here. I've contacted several people by email. The Board of Education, on average, most schools give the children 15 minutes of sitting down time. This does not include standing in line. If my child at 7 needs to go to the bathroom or tie his shoe, what, he don't get lunch? Okay, so I go and I visit the school. I can see you guys are throwing away more food than the children are eating. I don't know how this district can afford to throw so much food away. How can you just throw food away that children are trying to eat? It's not enough time. Something has to change, and it's not okay. I don't think you would be okay sending your children to this school or your grandchildren or your nieces or nephews and giving them this amount of time to eat, not to mention the 7 minutes that they get to play. You guys wouldn't be okay with your family doing this. So why are you doing it to our children? Why is this a district problem? Why is it all of the elementary schools are going through the same issue I am? Why am I sending my child to school with his own lunch and that's even being sent home? It's really a problem. And I don't really know, but I calculated the hours in the day and it seems shorter than last year. Can't we just give them back their same amount of time and let them eat lunch instead of throwing all of our food in the trash? Makes more sense to me, adequately, financially, healthy, like they need to eat, right? It just makes no sense to me. We're giving them 15 minutes. Can we mention that as a teacher, I went to high school. I'm pretty sure Mr. Rolla went to my high school and worked there. How would you like to have 15 minutes to eat lunch as a teacher? How would you like that to be your time to go to the bathroom, hurry up, and have everyone back? That wouldn't be a good time for you to eat. Wouldn't be a good time for you to go to the bathroom, everything. That's not enough time for you as a teacher to get your 15-minute break. It doesn't even seem fair for the workers. Not to mention the staff has to relieve people before they can make it down there. Our school is very short-staffed. They're asking volunteers to come in so children aren't getting beat on the playground because nobody's there to take care of everyone. I don't really know if it's your mental health issues, but in my son's classroom, there's a child who beats him every day. And he is special ed. You guys don't want me to mention names, but that's not safe for my kid to get beat every day. He's only like 6. I don't really know, but there's not enough staff. And it's becoming a problem for me to send my kid to school. Seriously. Have a good night.
I have a question.
Yeah.
If Ms. Harmon came 2 weeks ago, and if I'm not mistaken, board policy is she's supposed to get a response, so who
We're
did?
going to handle that after we're done with this, Mr. Thompson.
Oh, no, she came 2 weeks ago, so she has a response for 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
Not
we're
today.
handling that. At that last meeting, we respond the next meeting. So
Okay.
Mr. Dr. Abrego will respond to that issue following this year. Moving on to next one, Adams City High School Student Council.
Stephanie Levine, I'm a teacher at Adams City High School, 7200 Quebec Parkway.
Angela Herrera, I'm a junior at Adams City High School.
I'm Julia Garza, a senior at Adams City High School.
Good evening. Like I said, my name is Angela, and on behalf of Adams City Student Council, we would like to invite you, our board, to our homecoming festivities. Our festivities will be kicked off with the Pride of Puff game, which will be on Friday, September 22nd, and be from 7 to 9 p.m. This will be followed by our bonfire, which will be from 9 to 11. Our activities will continue on Saturday, September 23rd with the parade that starts on 64th and Olive and will end at the high school. The parade will start at 9 and end around 11. A barbecue put on by ROTC will then follow the parade. Our homecoming football game against Littleton High School will start at 1 that same Saturday, followed by our homecoming dance, which will start at 7 and end at 10. We look forward to seeing you all at our homecoming activities. We also have some letters or invitations for you guys.
I also want to clarify, this is a very new update. Since Ryerson was the place that we used to hold the bonfire and they sold half of their land, we are actually going to take the bonfire back to the old high school and we are going to host the bonfire there. So that should be a new tradition, hopefully starting from now on. And yeah, so hopefully the event will get a little bit bigger.
I have a question. So you're moving the bonfire to the old high school site. Where at the high school site?
To my knowledge, it's going to be held in the parking lot.
In the what?
The parking lot?
Where the little theater was?
So I'm Christy Douglas with the Commerce City Business and Professional Association, and we've been helping out the student council plan, and we've been meeting with Stephanie and the athletic director, and we've got everything all planned out. So we've been meeting with the fire department and the city everything is set up and well organized and approved. So I just wanted you to know that.
I have one question for you, Christie, before you sit
Yes.
down. But there's only one issue with having it on the pavement. That's type of heat is going to melt that pavement. Yes.
So that's not something that I personally know. I'm sure.
Yeah, the
that's coming from
fire,
somewhere, but
yeah, the fire department is aware of it, so,
Well, no, they're aware of the bonfire, but the asphalt's going to melt with that sort of intensity of the bonfire. It should be moved to the dirt area for everyone to be safe.
okay, so we will have to meet with those people again as far as rearranging location of the fire department and parking and all of that, but we can handle that.
yeah, that's something I'll pass on
Yeah.
to our AD who's meeting with them too.
Can I,
And if you do
And I'll
move
pass
it
it on
to
to
the
Reba.
dirt area, I suggest you get with Mr. Thompson back there because there's a lot of dry weeds and those sparks flying all over. We just don't want to make
Yeah,
sure.
that's one of the things we'll have to address then is the grading, because that's what we had to do at Ryerson before, so hang on, I guess.
They just got approval, so I have a meeting set up tomorrow morning with everybody to go out to the site and make sure that we're properly locating that fire.
can the BOE get a email letting us know what's going on?
Yeah, I'll give you an email with a topographical map, kind of sketching everything out, so you know where
Thank you.
it's happening.
And where are you guys getting the wood?
Ryerson.
They've supplied all the
Pallets,
pallets?
they're
and-
being donated. And
Nice.
there's going to be fencing around the fire and so
2
we've
years ago.
got everything really organized and set up. But are you sure that's asphalt over there or is that concrete? I believe it's concrete.
It's asphalt.
asphalt.
And then I guess the other question, if we're doing it there, where we're going to have the parking?
Oh, well, then I guess we'll move the parking from the grass area where we were going to have them park and have them park on the asphalt instead.
Yeah, I think when they go tomorrow too, I mean, everyone's gonna be there, so our AD will be there, the fire department will be there, Gianni Thompson will be there, and so it'll be one cohesive meeting where he'll be able to send out that map with everything, and then all those questions could probably be referred back to that map, so that'll all be the final information. This is just relaying the message that we have relocated the site, but I don't think we know the actual final details yet.
So, well, if you can't, if we have to do it on the, my suggestion would be that you should do it on the old baseball field. You have plenty, you don't have no asphalt, you have nothing over there but an old field.
Okay.
That, you know, maybe Johnny could get some of the maintenance there and they can just go out and drag the weeds out of there and, because there's plenty of dirt. My thing is, don't want to mess up the track, get too close to the track, because every day as I pass by there's people using the track. That's the only good thing that's come out of that whole situation is they're using the track, so we don't want to mess that up for them. But I would, if there's anything, look at it and maybe go to the old baseball field, which is the north section of the
That's
property.
right behind the old theater, right? Is that,
Well, to the north of the theater.
okay.
You know, is that, Cherry,
70th
where
and
the
Cherry.
buses used to park?
Uh-huh.
If you're going north, it'll be that one that'll, on the left-hand side.
And I'll send this note to Mr. Denmark, our new AD as well, so you can consider that. With, you got
I didn't
got the
get
note.
what you said.
I'll send that to our new AD, Mr. Denmark, as well, so he can make that note when he has the meeting, but Mr. Thompson will be at the meeting as well. Any other questions?
Just have fun.
All right.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, that takes care of audience comments. Dr. Abrego would like to respond to 2 weeks ago when people came in
What concerns?
with issues.
Thank you, Mr. Rolla. And in the Friday updates, I provide the governing board with information concerning concerns from our staff and parents from our last board meeting. So today, I'm just going to give you a brief explanation on what was in our Friday updates. But one of our concerns was about the lunch for our students. And I just want to let the board know that all elementary students have a 30-minute lunch period. That is no different than last year. Eating time will vary for individual students. Some take a little longer, some take a little less. But the norm is usually for students to eat maybe within a 15 or 20-minute period. After the students do eat, they are allowed to go outside and play, and that's where they get their physical activity, and that's also called lunch recess. I know they were also concerned about students with special needs not having sufficient time, but every student is given sufficient time, and in this case, for a special needs student, they can make recommendations with the teacher and the principal, and the student can be given more time. Also, at times, for special needs students, that could be written to their IEP plan. So, again, the times have not changed from last year. Everything is staying the same. The second was that parents also had concern about recess, and really what the state statute says is that every student in the elementary will get 30 minutes of physical activity. And how do you get that physical activity? The statute says recommendations, it could be done by recess, through a physical education class, fitness breaks, teachers doing classroom physical activities in their classroom, exercise program, or field trips. So it also states that these should be done throughout the day. So again, the physical activities are being met. We are in compliance. The only thing is that each school has the ability to implement that as they see fit. And I think the norm is probably going to be maybe 10 minutes in the AM, 10 minutes during their lunch recess, and 10 minutes in the afternoon. Also, we did send a letter out, or I sent a letter out to all our parents, giving them this information that we are in compliance, and some of the questions they asked, we sent that letter home to the parents and also to the staff that had concerns. Moving on, there was also concern about transportation for students that are open enrollment, and I did investigate that policy. The policy was just JFBB, and it does state that transportation for students granted permission to enroll pursuant to the policy that the transportation should be provided by their parents or guardian to the bus stop. So it also states that the students may ride the bus as long as there's not a disruption to the route. So in this case, I believe we had 3 students that needed help. Our chief operation officer spoke with the students and their parents, and I think we were able to resolve the situation because we were able to help the students with a maybe secondary address that would allow them to comply and ride the bus. By doing this, the bus driver knows every single student that's on the bus, and they're accounted for. So that was taken care of, and I think another concern was also pertaining to the staffing of special education, and I think Mr. Robert Fantin-Malum included his data, and I think that we're way below, or our ratios are very good, and that at this time, I don't think that any classroom is out of proportion. And Mr. Robert, I don't have the data right in front of me, but I'll say our ratio is about 5 to 1, if I am correct. And so we're in compliance in all areas. And also, I just want to let the board know that every Friday, we go into each school and we get the live body count. So we meet as a team, and then we decide if there needs to be any changes, any additions to classrooms, or how we're doing. So we've been doing that every Friday, and thus far, we seem to be okay.
There is no public response.
You also asked me to look into the traffic lights by different schools, and again, we did look into that. Our operations department, or operation officer, was communicating with the Conference City Police Works. They have responded to our request, and the times have been verified. So I believe at this time, all the lights should be synced with the school opening times. Mr. Thompson will continue to monitor that, but at this time, everything is in place and all the lights have been corrected. The last one was, I think, with school safety, and I think that was also in our letter indicating to our parents that they're welcome in our schools. The only thing we ask is that we follow policy and that they sign in at the main office, and once they sign in, I believe they get a visitor pass and they're allowed to go throughout the building. And this was, again, for the safety of all children. We want to know who's in the building, and we want to hold everybody accountable. And again, you have the further details in your package. This is just a brief explanation.
I have a question. Who did the report, Dr. Abrego, for the lunch? What school did they go to give you that update?
What school did they go to?
You
We've been
said
to
they-
various schools. I think we have different people going out to the schools and doing different monitoring. We've gone out to various schools. We've gone out to Rose Hill. We've gone out to Alsop. We've gone out to different schools. Part of our plan is that we go out on Wednesdays to visit schools, so we've been to various schools.
The reason I'm bringing this up, because when Ms. Harmon came to the board, I believe it was August the 22nd. On August the 25th, I went to Rose Hill, and I sat in the cafeteria, and I seen your staff in there. Now, am I supposed to say I clocked the last kid that came from the first and the last kid didn't? Which I did. So
Well,
that's-
I'm gonna stop you right there.
All right. I'm gonna leave. You guys have a good night. I'm sorry, that is not acceptable. You are not doing this, no.
Okay.
Okay, we will move on.
I'm not done, Mr. President. We're not
But,
moving on yet.
okay, well, let me speak then.
Go ahead.
Okay. What I'm gonna let you know, Mr. Harvest, is that you must understand your role as a board member. Your board as a board member is not to go out to schools and time these lunch periods. You have certain responsibilities, and your responsibilities deal with the judicial, with the executive, making policies, and that has nothing to do with that. That is in the area of micromanaging, if you really want to know, and we need to stop that.
Well, I'm not going to sit on this dais and go back and forth with you. But what I am going to sit on this dais and say, these kids are our kids.
That is true.
These parents live in this community. These parents have a concern about what's going on with their child that brings it up in front of us. Now, the question was, I asked, and I think it's a policy that the board can ask, what staff member did the report? Now, if I'm not mistaken, each one of us board members up here can go in any school. We can observe anything we want to. I didn't say how fast they ate, how slow they ate, what grade they ate, who ate fast, who ate slow. I just said I timed them. So the question again was, these parents come to this district, these students come to this class, come in here, and we not are supposed to just give them anything to come out this hogwash to me. So I'm done. But I will keep going to schools, I will keep looking, and I will keep doing my board diligence.
And please understand that when you do go to those schools, you're going as an individual. The only thing I wanted to say is you wanted the response. I personally went to Rose Hill. I think I've had Ms. Burgos go to different schools, and I've had Mr. Thompson. So all three of us were involved in that report.
I have a comment about the recess. Isn't there a board policy? I understand that we're in compliance with the state law, but isn't there a board policy that the recesses are 15 minutes each?
No, that is incorrect. Again, the policy states that 30 minutes of physical activity. When you go into the regulation, there's different ways you can do it. In the past, we have done it with recess, but because of our status now that we're trying to protect our instructional time, we're trying to do it different. We're still trying to comply with the 30 minutes, but we're doing it in a different manner to maximize our instructional time.
Well, I'm not a doctor, and I don't have a degree to be a doctor, but I do know one thing. It takes me longer than 7 minutes to get up and get my shoes on or what I have to do and get outside. And 7 minutes recess is not sufficient for our kids. And I think last meeting, all of us up here had made our displeasure that we wanted something different than your answer to this parent up here that she didn't get an answer. What she got was things are going to stay the same and nothing's going to change.
Well, all I can tell you is that
With that, I'd bring it to a halt. If we have to have some more discussion, we will do it in a study session, so we can move on to what we have have here on the agenda. So when we move into communications, if somebody wants to bring it in for a study session, you can bring it up at that time. If we have a consensus, we will move in, we will have a study hall any day of the week or whatever. All right,